Welcome back to the I Don't Know, Let's Ask My Mom podcast. I'm your host and the daughter, Annika.
And I'm your coach and the mom, Karen.
Awesome. Okay, let's hop into it. Let's do a Q-tip, quote or tip of the day.
Okay, tip of the day or quote of the day is from Young Pueblo, and it says, "Don't let a cloudy mind trick you into doing things you are done with."
Ooh, I love that.
Do you get it?
Yes.
Any questions?
So you're saying if you've chosen not to do something, if you decided to let something out of your life, don't let a hard time or moment bring you back there.
Because our brains love to take us back to somewhere we were before. Okay. That's why we get triggered. Mm-hmm. So I think like what I'm getting out of it is you've got to be aware of when your mind is cloudy. When maybe I'm just really tired or I'm feeling a negative emotion, that's when I'm going to want to fall back into old patterns. And so to recognize, okay, not trusting my brain right now.
Yeah.
Like I can tell I'm not in a good place right now, so I'm not going to make any decisions about actions.
Okay.
Right? Like we've talked before about how our feelings are warning signals.
Yeah.
And if they're negative, we're going to get a negative result in the end. Right? Like if we're angry and we take action from anger, the result's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Like we know this.
Yeah.
So I like this quote, don't let a cloudy mind convince you to go back into old patterns, right? Like just recognize, okay, I'm getting mad, I'm getting angry, and I'm going to stay here and go back and think about why I am before I decide to take any actions.
That's awesome.
Because and again, that's just like recognizing survival brain. Like if you got to recognize what brain am I in right now?
Yeah.
You know, am I in my primitive survival brain or am I in my higher brain? Like that wants what's best in the end? Or do I want just fast comfort right now? It's really good to just like throughout your day, right? Like to just kind of ask yourself, where am I? What brain is running my day? What thoughts are coming? Mm-hmm. And just recognize where you're at so that you don't accidentally just kind of automatic mode go back to things that you are done with, that you've really been working on.
Yeah. That's really good. It sounds like you're just more vulnerable in your survival brain. You're more vulnerable to things that you've decided to let out of your life.
Yeah, and just recognize like, why is your mind cloudy? Well, I might be tired. Mm-hmm. I might be hungry. I might be a little lonely, right?
Yeah.
Like my mind is cloudy.
Okay. I love that. That's so good. Oh my goodness, you always come through with those.
Thanks so much.
You're so welcome. Okay, let's talk about this story that I found on social media. It's about some friends. So we're just hearing one friend's point of view here. Okay. So I'm going to read it to you. She says, "I have a very close friend who I adore as a person, but she has had a bad habit of making everything into a competition or simply one-upping / doing the same things as me in an attempt to prove that she can do it too. I've already addressed it in person and we've talked about it. However, I still feel like they will continue making subtle efforts to do this, and I've already seen the habits showing up again since our talk. I genuinely do not know how to make myself more clear that it makes me uncomfortable and downright hurts my feelings. They made the statement that they look up to me and that I should just be happy for them. But when I explained the nature in which they go about these things, they didn't seem to understand how I felt. How do I stop feeling upset / letting myself get hurt by these actions without losing them? Is it worth it dealing with this long term? Why do they feel the desire to be better and not just themselves while appreciating me as an individual? Do they secretly despise me?"
Okay.
So
did she say something about how she felt about this friend or how long they were friends?
She didn't say how long, but she did say she adores this person. So she says, "I have a very close friend who I adore as a person."
Okay.
So she obviously adores this person. I think where have a question on this is at the end she says, "How do I stop letting myself feel upset about it?" Or kind of like, either do I make myself get over this, or is this something I deal with long term? Like, should I not be dealing with this in my life? Like, do I need to let this person out of my life? Is kind of the sense that I got of the question they're asking.
And this is a really good this would be a really good coaching session.
Yeah.
So I have lots of questions for her, right?
Right.
I would want to definitely get a clearer picture of what it looks like. Give me an example of when she's done it, right? Like looking at the actual facts about it. Okay, because she's giving all the reasons why her friend does this, because she wants to one-up me, right?
Yeah.
You actually don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just getting your thoughts about what she's doing.
Yeah.
Right? So I would like to walk her through, take away the story that you're making it mean, but what is she actually doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like if we were just filming a documentary, what
are the facts?
what would I see her doing? Not one-upping is a thought you're having about.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So I would want to get really clear about the facts, which we can't in this. So
right.
This is going to be very general, but I do like the fact that she has gone and communicated to the friend that it bothers her.
Yeah.
That sometimes is something people are not willing to do. They just people please until they resent the friend and then they kick the friend out of their life. So I am really impressed that she actually went to this friend and said, hey, this bothers me. You're competing with me.
Right.
The friend did a little, I'm not super thrilled on the response of you should just be happy. And I look up to you. That's why I do it.
Yeah. And she says, I want to prove that I can do it too.
She said that?
That's another thing that she said. Because the girl says, in an attempt to prove that she can do it too. And she has it in quotation. So.
Oh, so the girl said that.
Yeah.
So when okay, that's interesting that it was in quotes, because I thought that was just her interpretation. My friend just wants to show me she can do it too. But she put it in quotes, and my friend told me I want to do it too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the friend is saying, I'm going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to...
I mean, it sounds like she said she's going to stop, but then this friend's the old habits are showing up again.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So her friend did say, they addressed it and talked about it. And then she said that she'll she understands, but then she sees the habit showing up again.
It's starting to show up again. Yeah. And this is where it's kind of hard when you're telling someone, I want you to stop doing this. You were I want you to change your actions.
Yeah.
But unless that person actually goes and changes their thoughts that created those actions, that's willpower. That's okay, I can't do that. They don't want me to do that. But you haven't actually gone and worked out, why do I do it? And what do I need to think to not do it?
Yeah.
Right? She hasn't done that. She's just kind of trying to do what you asked.
Yeah.
But eventually, because she didn't work on her thoughts about it, the old actions are going to show up. And this happens with all of us.
Right.
Unless we figure out why we're doing something or what we're thinking that's leading to the feelings that get us to do, we are going to fall back into old habits, which actually kind of goes with our Q-tip today.
It does. Yeah.
Right? You're going to have to retrain your brain and go, wait, again, why do I not want to do that? And you're going to have to think that thought again.
Okay.
And it might take a few times to be wait, what's that thought that helps me not do that? And you go back. And then eventually your brain's oh yeah, I guess you're going to keep doing this. I'm not going to try to push you to do the old thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's funny. That kind of goes with the Q-tip. But I do love that she requested. I love that she talked about it. That's half the battle, honestly. That makes me happy that you're addressing it with your friend.
Yeah. I think that's really good. I'm really kind of stuck on the competitive friend. I wish I could understand where she's coming from in this whole thing, because it doesn't, I think we've all kind of experienced a friend that's a little bit competitive with us.
I agree. Everybody's relating on some level.
Yeah. And it's kind of annoying. And so it's I want to know where the other
Okay, so this is just funny. I'm just going to explore here a little bit. It's funny because we don't want people to copy us, but we do.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Well,
every influencer in the world wants you to copy them.
It's true.
But just don't do it better than me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's a good point.
And I think also what I if to really dig into this, both of you have fear, and your fear is triggering each other's fear.
Okay.
The girl is most likely copying you because she wants to be like you, and she's fearful that she's not as worthy as you. And she doesn't know how else to convince herself that she's worthy, so she just tries to do what you're doing. Fear. You, the girl who wrote in, is fearful that someone's going to take your worth away. or be better than you and like minimize what you've done. And it's like your both of your fears are colliding. So it's like both your survival brains are like colliding right now.
Yeah.
And both of you have fear. Now, granted, that would drive me nuts. I'm just going to say, like, that would drive me nuts. And especially when I ask not to, that would be very frustrating. And so, you know, there's been times where it's like, hey, there's nothing in this friendship except irritation. So this friendship is over. She could do that. But it doesn't sound like that's what she wants. She says she adores this friend. So there must be other parts of their relationship that she really loves and she really values. So then that would take us to boundaries. Like, I want to stay in a relationship with you, but when you copy me, I do this. So I don't share with you these things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because you always will just repeat them. Right? And, you know, I think, like, also I just want to point out, friendships are and relationships in general are made to challenge us and to push us to be better. And if I was coaching this girl long term,
Okay.
I would be like, what are you really scared of?
Like, why?
What is your survival brain really scared of with someone copying you and competing with you? Like, what's the worst case scenario?
Yeah.
Like, why are you so resistant, right? Because I would love to help her see the second you don't care. Like, if we could get to this place of abundance where, like, that's awesome, I'm the one thinking of it and I'm doing it and I love how it feels and it's not tied to my worth. And if someone else wants to try it, great. You know, I'm just focused on what I'm doing. I promise you the competition would stop because she's not, the other girl sees that, like, there's nothing to get.
There's no winning.
Like, your resistance of it is giving her something to win.
Yeah. I can totally see that.
That would be like long-term coaching.
Right.
Like, really, like, dig deep.
Right.
Because the truth is, people copy. People copy you.
Yeah.
People take your ideas. I mean, it's just like like with the workplace, in friendships, siblings. You're always, all of us are at risk of someone competing with us. And we can't control other people. So I would really want to help her find her power in it.
Yeah.
And what she's making it mean.
And what I
Because
fear,
it's the resistance of it that's making the competition.
and what I fear about this girl, where she'll get, is sometimes when you do have somebody like this in your life that's very competitive, whether, like you said, it's a friend, it's someone in the workplace, whatever, I feel like the first tendency is stop showing them everything that's in my life. Don't give them something to copy. And I think it's a good boundary to maybe not share certain things with her if the copying tends to be in one area or something. But I don't think it's empowering to stop what you're doing so that you don't get copied.
Yeah.
I don't know. But also,
I agree.
It would depend on
if
this
it's
girl.
something that you enjoy and love.
Yeah.
Don't let your survival brain make it such a big deal that you're just going to stop doing it.
Yeah.
Again, remember, our survival brain is just designed to put us back in the cave and not do anything.
Right. Exactly.
And so I would really want to help her look at the fear of it. And really, is it that fearful?
Right.
Really, do we care? You know what I mean? Like, you always get to have the knowledge that you thought of it.
Yeah.
That you are the creative one.
Yeah.
When someone is copying, that is total survival mode. And survival mode you can't create in.
Yeah.
Okay. So that part of your brain is just pattern and copy and recycle.
Right.
A higher brain is creative. I can come up with new ideas. I can come up with new content and things like, right?
Right.
When she falls into the survival mode about this, she's going to lose her ability to create. And I'm just going to, like, you know, I have an Instagram that I give like mindfulness tips and coaching tips. And every once in a while, I'll find a follower, post my content with their name. Like a quote that I came up with or a way to teach a concept. And at first, I was so upset and so threatened. It's like, I thought of that. Like, a lot of
That's not fair. Yeah.
I went into that concept of how to teach that. And then I realized, if I'm going to worry about any time someone could do that, I'm going to, and it did happen for a while. Like, I was so fearful that I wasn't going to get credit for that.
Yeah.
That I lost the ability to create.
Yeah.
And it's like fear, survival mode. Higher brain is love. And I can keep creating. Have fun with my quote that you couldn't come up with.
Yeah.
Right? And now you're going to have to copy someone else for your next post. But I have access to my higher brain. I know how to get there. And I have unlimited opportunity to create.
Yeah.
And like, it was a good experience to see like why I don't want to fall into the fear.
Yeah.
Right? And there's things I could do. I reached out to her and I'm like, I love that you liked my post. I would love it if you could give me credit. And she's like, oh, I didn't realize you said it. I'm like, well, did you see my name? It said underneath when I posted it. And she said, oh, I didn't know. And then she didn't fix it or move it. So I blocked her.
And that's
It's like, yeah, like I can have a boundary. It's like,
yeah, you can have a boundary.
Yeah, like,
What's the
okay.
empowering boundary?
like I approached you about it. Was like, not, I totally just was like, hey, I love that you liked my post. Thanks for following. I would love it also if you could like give me credit and not take the credit. And she was like, oh, I didn't know it was yours. I'm like, okay. So anyway, I'm just saying,
I get that.
I like what you're saying about maybe, but it definitely needs to be addressed. She definitely needs to work on her thoughts about it, or she is going to eventually just kick this friend out of her life.
Right.
That's what will happen with your survival brain. The fear will grow. Fear grows. And I would want to help her see how this is nothing.
Yeah.
And everybody's at risk of this.
Well, and I like what you said. The boundary was maybe blocking somebody versus stopping being creative and posting quotes.
Yeah.
And I like that example of like an empowering boundary. You're not stopping what you love.
Yeah.
So with this girl, it's like maybe she really loves sharing something, those things that she does in her life. You know, you have to figure out the boundary that's still going to empower
Like, don't
you.
take something away from yourself.
Don't
Fear someone's going to misuse it or
Exactly,
something. Right.
yeah.
This brings you joy. And when I said earlier, I said, I want to help her see it's not that big of a deal. I'm not saying her feelings.
Yeah.
Her feelings are valid.
Right.
She needs to definitely feel those feelings and process and figure out what action she wants to do next. But I would hope to coach her to the point where she felt at the end powerful and like, I still have access to these ideas. Someone who's copying is very limited.
Yeah.
Like they don't get to create. And I would want to keep you from falling into the fear that you still have the ability to create.
Yeah.
And I think I think once she does put a couple boundaries up, the friend will get the message.
I agree.
This is just something like, we're good. Let's go to the movies. Let's go do our things that we do as friends. But I'm not going to share with you these things that you tend to take, copy.
It's so good.
That's fine. But I think, and even at the beginning, do that. And then keep coaching yourself and find out why it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
You know?
Like you can just look past it altogether when you address that fear of it.
Not fearful about it, the competition ends.
Right. Yeah. So good. I'm really interested about the friend that's being competitive, what their mindset is there.
Yeah, I would love to talk to her.
Yeah. But it's good to know. It's like this is such an unempowering situation, I feel like, when someone's stealing your creativity or copying you. You just feel so like, oh, this isn't that big of a deal, so I don't want to make it a big deal.
It is a big deal.
But it's bugging me.
It's a big deal. So I'm glad she did say something to her friend.
Right.
You can't get anywhere if you don't communicate.
Yeah.
And the relationship would just fall apart if you guys couldn't communicate.
Yeah.
So I love how she's approaching it so far. When she says, do I just let it go? I'm like, I would, as a coach, I'd be like, and how are you going to do that?
Right. If you could just let it go, we wouldn't be here.
And I would, and because like I see that she wants to, then that's where the coaching would go, is how can I help you let it go?
I love that. That's really good. Oh, so good. Okay. I feel like that. I hope she can hear this.
That's a good question, because I think a lot of people have experienced that.
I think a lot of people have too.
In one way or another.
Right. I think everybody has felt that feeling. And it's feeling like, that is so frustrating.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. If you're here with us on YouTube, you can subscribe and sign up for notifications so you know every time we post a new episode. You can also find us on Instagram or TikTok at IDK Let's Ask My Mom. You can find Karen's coaching Instagram at
KarenEdwards.coaching.
And if you guys have any stories that you want to share with us, you need advice from Karen, you can email us or DM us on any of our socials. We love to hear your guys' stories and share them. So feel free to reach out. We love you guys. And don't forget to mother your mind.